And then here's the status for tonight's event. Each candidate is going to, starting from left to right, have 2 minutes for an opening statement. The order of the statements were determined at random by the candidates. We're going to go through those first. Then we will have 4 general questions that are not directed to any specific candidate. Each candidate will have their time to respond to that question. We'll go down the row, and then there will be rebuttal time by each member on the podium side. After that, we will have closing remarks, which will go in reverse order of the opening statements. I'm sure you follow along, so let's go ahead and get right to it so we can hear from them instead of me. So let's begin tonight with our opening statements. The order is going to be Mr. Fisher, followed by Mr. Murray, and then Mr. Berry. Mr. Fisher, you have the floor for your opening statement. 1 minute, sir. Or 2 minutes, excuse me, 2 minutes.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Tina and Catherine, for setting this all up. Thanks to all of the members of the Nova Chamber of Commerce for sponsoring it. This is really a critical time in our nation's history, and I'm honored to be here. My name is Ron Fisher, independent green candidate. I'm a family man, an engineer, businessman, community civic-minded citizen, honors graduate of the Naval Academy, and Captain of the U.S. Navy retired. I have a solid education, record of achievements in the Navy and business, and civic and social justice work. There's more information, of course, about me on my website, Ron Fisher for Congress, and my platform on WeThePeopleNow.org. And I have a little handout on it if you're interested. I'm running for Congress because of the abject failure of the 2 major parties to provide adequate governance or offer practical solutions to the urgent problems facing our nation. Now, the topic tonight was the question is, where do we can stand on issues that are important to the business community and our region's economy? And I listed those funding sources, investors, credit sources, customers with need and with dollars to buy things, educated, trained, ethical, motivated goods, ethically motivated workers, effective, affordable transportation system for people and the goods, health care for you and your employees. And the most important thing about this is what is Congress doing about these things. And the other thing I realized coming over here, these are exactly the same problems that most of the industrial areas in the country, large cities face, and even the rural areas. We have tremendous problems with all of these. And I believe I have the answers to come up. I hope I'll be able to explain those during the day. And please bear with us, and we'll get on with it. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Patrick Murray. I'm running for Congress in the 8th District of Virginia against Jim Moran. I want to thank the Chambers of Commerce for hosting us tonight. I hope it's useful for you all. I am a retired United States Army colonel. I spent the last 24 years of my life in uniform serving this country everywhere. I originally grew up in Oklahoma, raised by a single mother. And I would just say that I'm running for Congress because I believe that as one who has been in places without the blessings of liberty, we are going in the wrong direction. I know this because we are about to have $13 trillion of debt. Next week, that's the number that we will surpass. We have got to get our fiscal house in order, and the policies that I see that are fomented by Nancy Pelosi and Jim Moran in Washington, D.C. exacerbate that problem. When we have federal bailouts, when we have Obamacare, when we have cap and trade, all that does is increase our taxes and increase the footprint of federal government. It drags down our economy, and it is not what our founders had in mind when they wrote the Constitution of the United States. We need pro-growth policies. Let's keep taxes low. Let's keep regulations, federal regulations, reasonable and to a minimum. And those are my policies. So let me just say I look forward to your questions this evening. The time is now. The writing is on the wall. You can see what's happening in Greece. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a business as usual year. Thank you very much.
Mr. Berry, you have 2 minutes.
if I had his record, I'm not sure I'd want to debate my opponents either. A couple months ago, he appeared on Hardball, and he said that he used to be a moderate Democrat, but he's since been radicalized. His word, not mine. When it comes to the balancing the budget, he used to care about that. Since he's voted for a budget that'll rack $10 to $12 trillion of debt over the next 10 years to our children and grandchildren. He used to have a moderate record on business issues. Now he votes regularly with the big labor bosses and with the trial lawyers. Instead of borrowing and spending our way to prosperity, I want to offer tonight an alternative vision of how we can grow jobs and grow the private sector economy. Right now, we have the second highest corporate tax rate in the world. I want to cut that from 35% to 20%, so we're more competitive in the global marketplace. I want America to be the center of innovation when it comes to new technologies, and that's why we should double the research and development tax credit, which would be a tremendous boon for companies here in Northern Virginia. Third, we need to keep taxes on investment low. Right now, if we take no action, taxes on capital gains, dividends, and small businesses are all going to go up at the end of the year. I want to keep taxes low on investment because that produces job creation. Fourth, I want to increase American exports because American exports mean more American jobs. That's why we should ratify the South Korea, Panama, and Colombia trade agreements. And finally, when it comes to business, we should adopt the do-no-harm philosophy. And that means fighting job-killing regulations like hard check and cap and trade. So tonight, I look forward to having a good exchange with the other candidates on these issues, and I ask for your vote in the Republican primary on June 8th.
Thank you, gentlemen. We're going to begin the question-and-answer session right now, and just so you know, there are two friendly folks up front here who are keeping tabs on your time, Jen and Andrew. They will let you know if you go over. You can notice they'll pull up some cue cards here as time goes through. If you hear the bell, that is your friendly reminder to wrap it up very quickly. We are going to begin our first question here from Mr. Berry, and then we'll follow with Mr. Fisher and Mr. Murray. The question is something that I was reporting on just this evening on the 6 o'clock news. It's timely, and it's something that we're seeing become more prominent in how we react as a government and when it comes to security measures specifically. The question is, do you think that new threatened attacks, for example, the Times Square attempted car bombing a couple of weeks ago, would have a significant impact on tourism in our area, should we see attacks locally, of course, and what could you do to increase safety and at the same time decrease concerns? Mr. Barrett?
Sure. It is definitely a possibility because we, along with New York City, are the primary targets for terrorist attacks within the United States. And I'm generally concerned about the direction in which we're taking when it comes to the war on terror. For instance, I don't think that Mirandizing a Christmas Day bomber after 50 minutes of interrogation is the appropriate way to garner intelligence to stop further attacks. I also don't think that Mirandizing the suspected Times Square bomber is the right way to stop attacks. I don't favor viewing this as a criminal law enforcement matter. We need to view this as a national security matter. And how do we protect ourselves? Number one, we deny terrorists safe havens abroad. I completely disagree with Congressman Moran that now's the time to unilaterally withdraw troops from Afghanistan and let the Taliban take over. And number two, we need to give investigators and prosecutors the tools they need to fight and win the war on terror. That means more aggressive questioning, more surveillance, and more information sharing between investigators and prosecutors.
Thank you very much. Same question to you, Mr. Fisher.
The thing is, I would say the critical point I'll be working on is reducing the probability of the threat. They attacked the World Trade Center, 19 guys, because we have troops in the Mideast. We're over there to take their oil. We're over there to support the tyrannical regime cases. And we need to quickly get out of there, come back to the United States, and bring the troops back, help build the economy, and work on that. We have a tremendous, Washington's just changed tremendously since I've been here. It used to be you could drive right up on the Capitol building.